Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to Budding Bromance episode
11.
11. Yeah. 11, lucky number. Uh, hello. Hi. Welcome for the first time, potentially. Or if you're coming back, hi. It's nice to see you again.
I feel like 11 is a good number to start on.
11's a good number to start on. Yeah.
I feel like I pick it out based on the title, you know? No,
Yeah.
maybe not. I pick it out based on most recent.
Based on most recent, yeah.
Yeah.
Most recent is usually what people do.
Mhm.
Because like, why would you go back to start at the very beginning unless you've already kind of like gotten accustomed to what they do now? And
Yeah.
you're like, I want to see what they were like earlier.
For sure. That's how I go. I mean, I watch the most recent episode, possibly the two most recent episodes, and then I should shoot back all the way to the beginning.
Shoot back. Yeah. Just like,
If I
let's
like
see-
'em.
Let's see the evolution.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm like, I got to know how we got here, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Who are you people, basically?
Yeah, I don't know who you guys are. I need to familiarize myself.
Yeah, so I'm Nick, and this is Sergio, and we are Budding Bromance.
Yeah.
We just started this podcast one day. Sorry, there's going to be a filler episode, actually.
Filler episode.
It's not a filler episode. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's if you want to watch the abridged version, just like go from like 1 to like 14 whenever 14 comes out.
Mm.
Skip 2 to 13.
Yeah, this is a filler journey. We are going to continue a lot of stories. This episode will be a lot of catch up for like stories that we never finished, I guess.
Yeah.
Cliffhangers.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking of which, I'm sure you said you had one, right?
I did. Yeah. So, I've been meaning to tell this story for about, I don't know, 2 months, almost 2 months now, okay? Whenever it happened, whenever it first happened, but I just keep forgetting to get sidetracked, whatever. Do you remember the Spotify AI DJ whenever that
Yes.
it first came out?
Yes, I do.
Well, I tried it out. I was like, cool, this is nice, whatever. But okay, this AI DJ isn't really like an AI DJ at all. It's just like, an AI voice generator or AI text generator with like AI voice synthesizer, whatever. And that's it. It's just a glorified shuffle playlist.
Of course.
That's all it does. I was still new to it. It was like my first time trying it or whatever. And I'd just been studying a lot the previous day. So I put it on, play some music, and then I hear the AI voices, I hear the AI voice chime in between songs. He's like, hey, we're going to bring it back to something you've been listening to a lot recently.
You do
And
the
I'm
AI
like,
voice well, like that little
Really?
impression. I feel like that was pretty spot on.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So he says that, and then I think I'm in my car, right? He says that while I'm in my car, and all of a sudden I hear, that's all I hear. Okay,
Mhm.
just because I'd been studying recently,
Okay.
and I just brown noise. I was listening to brown noise. I use brown noise to like block out some sound or like help me focus, dial in. And because the AI DJ is just like a shuffle playlist, it doesn't differentiate between songs and like normal random sounds. So he's like, yeah, he likes this. He likes.
We're going to tune it in with some brown noise number 7.
Yeah, but it was just so stupid. It was like, I was expecting a song. I just got brown noise.
You got the brown note, just pooped yourself.
Yeah.
What's the difference between brown noise and the other noises?
Different frequencies. That's
Like,
it.
what does it
So-
sound like though? Is it like wind or something? Or is it like a low rumbling?
It could sound like wind. It could sound like static or whatever. But it just depends on the type of frequency it's playing at. So I
Mhm.
think brown noise is between like a certain hertz, and then white noise, same thing. Different types. Like blue, green, whatever. It's just the frequency of sound waves that
okay.
is like hitting your ears. I don't know the exact science behind it or anything. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I'm
Noise
pretty
makes
sure.
brain go brr.
Yeah, noise makes brain go burr. That's all that matters. I think.
Yeah, the AI DJ kind of creeps me out. Like I used to use it a lot in the beginning, and then it just started kind of like, I don't know. I felt like it wasn't getting my music taste right. Like it would just put on these random songs that like, you know what it was. I remember why I stopped using it. It was because every single time it'd be like, we're gonna try out the pop genre, or we're gonna try out the rock genre, or we're gonna.
I don't want to listen to rock or pop.
I was down to, but it was like we're
okay.
gonna put on the rap genre, and then like every single time it was just TikTok songs.
Yeah,
Like it was just like the most popular songs in the genres, and I was like, these are just TikTok songs. Like
those are the songs that are popping.
they are like the most streamed. So I guess that's why they play them. I just got tired of it because I was like, if I wanted TikTok songs, I'll just look up a TikTok songs playlist, which I do sometimes. You know
the song "Mary on a Cross"
yeah.
by Ghost?
Mhm.
It's a TikTok song, right? Obviously, people have done remixes, and I listened to it for the first time today,
Mhm.
right before you showed up, actually. And I mean, I would have never been exposed to it had it not been, for TikTok or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's still like that. It's just it goes to show, even just like a really small anecdote, that TikTok for music in general, like for just I mean, even though like lots of TikTok sounds have been from more popular songs or popular artists, it's still good for like exposure. Or whatever.
Oh, for sure,
like,
yeah.
You know, having your song like be just a a hit or like a popular sound.
Now you can never play it in the car, because when you play it in the car, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, I heard this on TikTok.
Yeah, people
I heard it on TikTok."
Exactly. Yeah, and there's also like the whole like I hadn't seen I was recommended a video. I never watched it, but it was called like the TikTokification of music or something.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Right?
I don't know the video, but I think I've heard like the theory.
Yeah, where now songs are looking for specific like beats or hits to try and like go viral or whatever. Which I guess makes sense from like a exposure profit perspective, but that's how it goes.
That garbage truck going crazy out there.
High garbage truck. Goodbye. I think they're just outside.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm sure we can't hear them, right?
No, there's no shot anybody can hear them right now.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no. I've heard like a lot of people make music now that's like focused on one extremely catchy segment of the song. Like you have to put in like one extremely catchy segment of the song just in case it blows up on TikTok.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know, some TikTok songs you'll look them up, like Mariana Cross, right? The rest of the song sounds nothing like that.
It doesn't.
It's just like some randomly in the middle of it. It just has this really catchy melody.
Yeah.
And then it just goes back to normal, and you're like, what was that? Like that just felt like, like
it feels a little artificial, maybe.
Yeah, but a little bit.
How old is the song, anyways?
I mean, it's before TikTok's time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just listened to it for the first time today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know like the artist is Ghosts or the Ghosts or something.
I don't know. All I know is the song's about phallic things.
I don't even know.
Yeah, that's all I know.
It takes me a while to what's it called, to absorb the actual meaning of the lyrics behind a song, because I do pay attention to the lyrics behind a song, which is why this is I guess it goes for those who don't know, I don't watch sad scary movies for the most part unless I'm doing it with a friend or whatever, because I don't want to make myself feel sad or scared, right? I don't want to seek that out. So that's the same reason I don't listen to sad music or music that'll like that has like sad lyrics, or even if it's like poppy melody or something, there's like something in titties behind it. Makes me feel a little weird, right? Some people seek that out, some people like that. I don't, which is why
one of them.
I don't do it, right? But that's why I do like to pay attention to lyrics in songs. It's just my first initial few listens I never really do until I'm like, okay, now let me see what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
Someone's outside the door.
It's the garbage man.
Garbage man. Yeah, they were upset.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, no, I can see what you're saying. I know some people have that mindset. I don't know. I think like for me, sad music and like that scary type of music, just different things. I like the way they sound.
Back to sad music for a second, or like sad boy music, I guess. Frank Ocean. I listened to one of his songs.
Which one?
Okay, so I can confirm I've never heard any of his songs before.
Really?
I'd never listened to any of his songs before. But I did, somebody was like, I read a comment and it was like, what would you say to people, or what would you recommend to people who've never listened to his songs but want to get kind of a feel for what he does? And somebody said like Pyramids is a good one.
I've never heard Pyramids.
It was like 10 minutes long.
Yeah, I think that was not the best recommendation.
Maybe not. That's the only one I've listened to so far. After that, I was like, maybe not. He sounded nice, but I don't know. I don't think it was that song. Maybe it wasn't the best to start off with.
Probably not. I mean, I would have said like Self-Control or Thinking About You, like just the most popular ones.
Okay.
You know what? Now that I think about it, Frank Ocean. No, I shouldn't say it. I was going to say he kind of has like a TikTok effect like on his songs where it's like some songs of his has like one really catchy part or one really beautiful like melodious part. And then the rest of the song is just kind of like
that was the beginning of Pyramids, and I was like, oh.
Cool. I'm pretty sure Pyramids is one of those songs. I know like Self-Control. Self-Control is a really good song. You know what I mean? Like it starts off and it's still a nice song, but like the ending almost has nothing to do with the beginning. Like it's such like a beautiful outro ending, but you're like, it kind of comes up and you're like, where did this come from? Like this is just a crazy like just beauty that just came out of nowhere, But like now that I think about it, I mean, obviously he made music before TikTok, but like,
yeah.
Like man, maybe he was onto something,
He was onto something, yeah. You just get one nice melody and then like a hook for people to sing, just to get caught up in, and there you go.
So out of 10, what is Frank Ocean?
Well, the only song based off of the only song I've listened to.
What is Pyramids out of 10? The song.
Pyramids is like a 6.
Which album was that? Was that like the black and white album cover?
Oh, or what? Is there one called like Oranges or something? Or Orange?
Yeah, Channel Orange.
Channel Orange. I think it was from that one.
Oh, that's like his first album.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely heard the wop 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 wop.
Yeah.
Like just like weird buttons and stuff, and it's like cool.
Yeah, that's how a lot of his songs are. It's very like I feel like it's very bass kid experimental. Like if you're just getting into like different noises, you're gonna like him. It reminds me of like Frank Ocean and Tyler the Creator are very like similar, not in the music style, I guess, but more in like the like a lot of people who are like experimental sounds.
Yeah.
You know, they remind me of each other. But like the very like bass kid, like if you just want to start getting into like different types of music, those are what people will listen to. You know.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say that's for me, but I could definitely see the appeal for sure. Just because it's different sounds, cool little buttons and beeps and bloops, and it sounds like at the beginning it does sound just like somebody messing with things just for the fun of it. But he does sing in there obviously, and it sounds great. And it's just I don't know. It's just 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute long song. The longest song I'd heard previously was like Bohemian Rhapsody, which was like 8 minutes or something.
You've only heard an 8-minute song?
Yeah. What other song is past 8 minutes?
Like every Black Country New Road song, a lot of like, well, I guess I just listen to weird stuff. I listen to like, like just pure beeps and
like
boops.
For 2 hours long. That's what your AI DJ would have recommended.
It literally does recommend it, but then like that's what I'm saying. Like it just switches back to like TikTok pop, and I'm like, okay, it's all right, but like I want to hear something new.
I want the bleeps.
Yeah, like
I want the bleeps and bloops.
I thought the AI DJ would have played something new, but like I feel like a lot of it I'd heard, and that's why I was kind of disappointed. Then I don't use it anymore because I'm like, it's just gonna play stuff from TikTok, and I've heard it before. You know,
it's a shuffle playlist with a gimmick. That's about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I mean, it was a little fun idea, right? And then I immediately got
really only like 8 minutes. That's like the longest song.
Yeah, I don't listen to super experimental things. I'm kind of a normie when it comes to music.
Do you like experimental things, or are you fine with where you are?
I don't think it gives me the same feeling that it might give you, where it's like I listen to it and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like let me whatever. Like I get drawn into it, or it makes me feel something. For me, it's just I get a little. I just feel a little thrown off, and I'm like, this is I see how people like this. I don't think it just doesn't give me that instant feeling of like I like this. It immediately doesn't, or it doesn't immediately like fire off those like little receptors in my brain.
But you listen to like 3-minute songs, 4-minute on your average?
Yeah, 4 or 5 minute songs like most of the time.
The 4-minute Chad versus the 10-minute song version, Nick.
Yeah. Straight up is 10 minutes though. Because halfway through I thought the song would be done. Yeah. And then it just keeps going for another. I saw I had like another 5 minutes to go, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Yep. What are you gonna do with the next 5 minutes?
I feel like I don't know. I'm just not that big of a fan of Frank Ocean. I feel like I might have heard Pyramids, and then I saw it was 10 minutes, and like I don't know. I barely sit through his like 3 or 4 minute songs. Yeah. They're just not for me, I guess. I don't know.
It made me feel like I was the issue, that my attention span wasn't.
It's just your music taste, Like
I know.
If you like 10-minute songs,
it made me feel like that whole thing where like TikTok or a lot of the short form content is making people's attention span shorter. No. And me seeing that I couldn't sit down to listen to a 10-minute song uninterrupted, or like in comfort, just made me feel like there was something not right.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, it happens, I guess. I don't know. I never listened to Frank Ocean before. So again, he has like shorter songs for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess I'll try to listen to Self Control. Well, is that what it was?
I'd say like Thinking About You, Self Control. Okay. Those are the two I'd recommend, I guess. I don't really know much. Those are my two favorite from him. Mm-hmm. I feel like those are the most like you listen on the first listen, you're like, okay, I can get behind this. Yeah. There was another one. It literally has like I don't know. It's like
he hired R2D2.
Lost. That's the name of the song. Mm-hmm. That's from Channel Orange too. That's a pretty catchy one, I think. The chorus is catchy. Obviously the verses are like, beeps and whoops,
beeps and whoops and blops and bonks.
Mm-hmm. Bonks. Big bonks.
Big bonks.
Speaking of bonks, my eyes like bulge out of my head like sideways. We need to see Beau is Afraid. I forgot about that.
But yeah,
I've been a bit busy this past weekend.
Yeah, of course. Why is that?
Oh, so the finale. Oh my god, y'all didn't just see that on the mic, I hope. But the season finale to Nick's short film contest saga, right?
Yes.
So I haven't been mentioning it because pretty much the same thing has been going on for the past like 2 or 3 weeks. It's just every other day we have an emergency meeting, and I mean every day, if not every other day. Like, you can ask Sergio. He would be like, "Oh, you want to record the podcast?" And I'd be like, "Sorry, they just planned an emergency meeting. I got to be there." Every single day. So these meetings will last like 3 or 4 hours, right? Sometimes I'd have to drive up like 30 minutes away to my school, and they'd be like 4 or 5 hours, right? And I'd be sitting there in a room listening to these people talk.
Yeah, and they're initially meant to be 2 hours-ish, right?
They'd be like, "No, they're 15-minute meetings," is what they said.
What?
It should be a quick meeting today, guys. 15 minutes. Dude. And every time I'd see 15 minutes, I'm like, we are not going to be here for 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
So then, yeah. So we'd show up every single day, and there's always a bad news, right? Every single day, there's always some bad news. Guys, we lost our location. Guys, we lost our actor. Guys, we I can't do it this day.
A second plane has hit the South Tower.
Yeah, it's like that Bush. That's literally me every other day. The Bush meme where he's like listening. So, yeah, I mean, we did over 10 rewrites, complete rewrites of the script.
What do we did? 12 rewrites.
12 rewrites of the script, you know? So, I mean, that's just complete rewrites. And then after that, we did over like 20 edits of each of these scripts. And the whole time, nobody listened to me. The whole time, I'd warn them. I'd be like, guys, we can't do this. Like, this is going to be complicated. We're going to be in the same spot that we were in.
I had something to say.
Good.
You said they weren't listening to you about doing it in a particular area, a certain scene, right?
Exactly.
You sent me just one photo.
Mm-hmm.
It was not there. It was in a garage instead.
Yep.
So they changed it again?
Yep.
How many changes did it go through from that initial scene to the garage?
From the very first original idea we had?
No, not from the very first. That would be like the rest of this podcast. No, it's like from the, I think it was a car, is what you said. It was a car scene. They were very insistent on doing a car scene.
Yes, and I hated that idea.
Yeah. And then that's the last I heard about it. And then you sent me you sent me like a quick photo, like, you know, of the garage.
From that, we had 5 rewrites.
How?
We were going to do the car, right? And then they were like, "Oh, well, it's going to rain that day." And I'm like, what is a rain going to make a difference? We're inside, you know, like we're inside of the car, you know? And then, you know, I warned them anyways. I was like, look, the only difference rain is going to make is like the noise on the car. Yeah. But like, it's a nice ambiance. You could just get a room tone, like if there's the,
and if anything, that'd be like,
it looks pretty.
Yeah.
But like, I even warned them before, and I was like, we're not going to be able to light the car, just so you know. It's going to look like doo-doo fart, even if it rains, you know? But they didn't listen, right? And car, we want the car scene. Oh my God, right? So then, after that, we went back to the dancing idea because we got the dance studio available, right?
Okay.
And it was going to be in like a black box theater, you know, like,
okay.
And then I warned them. I was like, you want me to light an entirely pitch black room, and you want me to just make her stand out in just a pitch black room without her just standing in a field of void. Like, yeah. I was like, this isn't going to work. I was like, I put my foot down on that one. I was like, I will not, like, unless we have like 7 lights and we're able to use the stage lights and every single thing. And even then, it will not look good. It will look weird because the audience is going to be like, why is every single light on the stage for a rehearsal, right?
Yeah.
So I put my foot down on that one. I'm like, we're not doing the black box. I was like, and they didn't listen. They're like, yeah, no, we're doing the black box. So we spent another like 2 days doing that. Then they hit us back up. Guys, the black box isn't available.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, wow, what a surprise, right? So that was the second one. The third one is we were going to do the garage. One of our members was like, hey, we can use my house. It wasn't the garage. We were going to use his living room, right? So we were like, I was like, perfect. I was like, that's literally perfect. Let's use your living room. Yeah. That is that's my favorite idea so far, right? And then they came back to us and they were like,
a car crashed into the living room.
Oh, no.
You can't use it.
No, the producer was like, oh, but if we do that, then we're going to have to change the roles of the actors. And we really like this one guy who was supposed to be like the dance instructor. So instead of that, let's do outside of the car. And I'm like, isn't it supposed to rain still? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, so what are we doing right now? Like, why are we doing outside of the car, right? And this was the third rewrite, I think.
Oh, Yeah. Well, that would be the yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And they wrote screenplays for every single one of these within a day, and they were all so bad. Like, or some of them were so bad. Some of them were decent. Like, I was actually kind of a fan of,
Yeah.
But I was like, why are we doing this outside the car? And you want scenes inside the car too for that one? Like, it's not gonna work, right? And then the next day they were like, oh, so it changed to 100% chance of rain, guys, on Friday. So we're not gonna do that idea, Turns out we couldn't even shoot that weekend, right? Because what had happened that weekend? Because that wasn't this past week, right?
That was
2 weeks
That
ago.
was this past weekend.
Oh, was this past week?
It was
okay.
this past weekend.
So then it was this past weekend, right?
So what happened? What was going on?
So then we changed our ideas twice within one day, I'm pretty sure. One of the ideas was like, one of them was the garage, right?
Yeah.
And I was a fan of that one. I was like, perfect, garage, indoor lighting. And big fan of that. Wasn't a big fan of the idea. I thought the idea was kind of silly. I mean, it wasn't silly. I guess I wasn't feeling it,
What was the idea for the garage?
The idea for the garage was that this girl was trying to run away from like an abusive household or something like that.
Okay.
And she had to like get this car. She was just like basically in a rush to like pack her bags and get in the car and leave, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, not in a car, in an Uber. She wanted to order an Uber.
Okay.
In an Uber, and leave. And she gets in the Uber. So like most of it's in the garage, and then like the second half is in the Uber with her just talking to the dude, being like, it's just like a conversation between them two. Like, you don't know either of these two, but like you can more easily talk to a stranger than you can like somebody close to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. So like that was basically it. She was basically just gonna talk to this stranger Uber driver and be like, oh, blah 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 blah. Life sucks, teen angst.
Teen angst.
And the driver was gonna be like, hey, maybe you should give your old folks a call, right? Like, I'm sure they don't mean to hurt you, right? In my mind, I'm like, these people are like verbally abusive, and you're trying to like, promote them going back. Well, y'all got some problems, y'all screenwriters.
I don't know if that's a great message.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't like it. I especially didn't like the Uber, because how are we gonna record while driving? Like, you need a whole rig for that, to like strap the camera on the car
to make sure it's not like shaking around.
Yeah, and it's just a bunch of rigmarole, right? So I was like, no, not doing that, right? I didn't say that. I said that to all of these, but eventually I just stopped talking because I realized nobody's gonna listen to me, right? And that's the saddest part. Whenever you realize like it doesn't matter what you say anymore.
Make a short film about a lighting. What was your role?
A gaffer.
Because I know it was gaffer, but then like you got promoted to something, didn't you?
They asked me to do what was it, director of photography, DP?
Yeah, but I thought you were also like you were
SFX
responsible
makeup.
for yeah. So just like a multifaceted person, a part of a short film crew, like a meta thing. Make a short film about that. They just keeps getting ignored.
Oh, dude, I'd love to do that, like a satire type thing where it's like so unbelievable that it's like just kind of funny,
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so that happened. That was the fourth one, and the final fifth one was the garage, where it's just the garage, right? And for what we had, I thought that idea was the best one. I still not that big of a fan of the idea, but it was okay, So anyways, yeah. So that was like 2 days before we shot, right? It's April 20th or something like that, or April 19th when they made the script, right? Because apparently the rest of us don't get to put in our ideas, even though the other groups did that. And it was supposed to be like a group coming up with the ideas thing.
Yes.
The producer and the other one, the director.
And the other one.
The director did not want us to put in anybody else's ideas except for them. They wanted to be like, I guess, the entire screenwriting thing, right?
Because you lost your actual screenwriter, right?
Yes, we lost our actual screenwriter very early on in the process, and that's kind of what made this whole thing fall apart. Yeah, very, very. I know you're up there listening and cringing, right? No, he just quit because like he came up with this very complicated idea and shot everyone else's ideas down. We had a meeting, right? A screenplay meeting, the very first meeting we had with this group, and it was supposed to be coming up with ideas for the short film.
Yeah.
We came into that meeting, and the screenwriter already knew what he wanted. He already knew he was going to shoot down everyone else's ideas, and apparently him and the director talked about it beforehand. Both of them knew the idea they wanted.
And so the meeting was purposeless.
It was completely purposeless. It was like a 2.5-hour meeting of just us naming ideas and then being like, no, too complicated, no. But they already knew what they wanted. Why did we sit there for 2.5 hours pretending to care about our ideas?
Did they put forth the idea first?
No, they put it down last. And then the director was like, oh my God, I really like that idea. I really love that idea.
That's funny.
And we were just like, huh. okay, well, that's like the most complicated idea we've said so far. You know, like, how are we gonna do that? You know, we'll figure it out. That's where it all fell apart, right? Yeah. So then, blah blah. Screenwriter left because he wouldn't communicate because the director and the producer were trying to change the script because he wanted to write like a 20-minute short film.
Yeah.
And it's a 5-minute length, right? He didn't want to change it. He didn't want to shorten it. He didn't want to make rewrites. So they fired him basically. And then once he got fired, they were like, no, we don't. I don't want you to use my script for this. That's my script. That's my intellectual property, right? So rewrite, blah 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 blah. The week before, right? Oh, I'm sorry. The week before, we're on the final rewrite. The day of the final rewrite, we're still planning on doing the Uber driver car scene thing, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like 7:30 p.m. We get a text. Hey guys, emergency meeting, 9:30 p.m. Can y'all make it?
How?
And I'm
9:30?
That's what I said. I was like, we are recording in like 4 days. Like, we are recording in 4 days. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I'm sorry, no. We were recording in 3 days. That was on Thursday. And we were recording on... I'm getting my days mixed up. That was on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and we were recording on Friday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this better be like something small, you know, like
9:30 p.m.
Yes, 9:30 p.m. So we get in the meeting, right? Everybody's dead quiet. And also, there's an executive producer in charge of the entire contest, right?
Okay.
And she kind of like oversees things to make sure it's going smooth.
Were they there?
She's never been in the meeting before.
Oh, so
and
this
she's
is
sitting
the
in
first
the
time.
call. She's sitting in the Discord call. And we're like, this must be serious. There's a tone in the air. You know what I mean? It's like this has to be serious if she's here. I hope she's canceling the production and saying like, look, you guys tried. Y'all are 3 days out, you know?
Yeah.
Y'all don't have anything.
Might as well at that point.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, let's just cancel, right? But the director pulls up. Everybody's in the call. And our producer is like, hey guys, the director has an announcement to make, and I think it'd be better if she made it, right? And we're like, oh man, you know, we already know what it is. You want to guess what it is?
They can't go through with...
The director pulls up, and she's like, hey guys, I just wanted to let y'all know that I can't do this idea. She was like, it is just, you know, it's not what I'm passionate about. It's not what I wanted to do in this short film festival. It's not the thing that I wanted to put forth. And I just feel like I can't work on something that I'm not passionate about. And she's like on the verge of tears. And she's like, I just feel like, you know, like everything's gone wrong. And she's like, and I don't want to direct something that I just don't like as a person, as a writer, you know?
Okay.
And in my mind, I'm like, how do you think the rest of us feel after not being consulted, not being asked for ideas, just being completely ignored?
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel good? And now you're quitting because of that? You know? So the director dropped out. The most important role of all drops out
3 days
3 days before. What are we supposed to do?
9:30 p.m.
so blah blah blah, sob story, blah blah. Get out of here, right? She leaves the call, right? Now the executive producer, I won't say her name. I was about to say her name. The executive producer speaks up, and she's like, "Hey, I know you guys have had the roughest production. Like, I've been keeping track of everything that's gone wrong. I'll give y'all the choice. Do y'all members want to continue your short film?" She was like, as long as y'all put something out and, you know, it's decent, we'll show it, and we'll give you like credits and all that. But she's like, it's up to y'all. She's like, I know everything's gone wrong. You no longer have a director. You don't have a screenwriter. If y'all don't want to, I'd completely understand. And in my mind, I'm like, yes, we can all quit finally, right?
Yeah.
And like, I'm just silent because I'm not going to be the one to say it, right? Because I'm not even there for half the meetings, and I don't feel heard anyways, right? So I'm like, somebody else will say it, right? I'm completely chilling. My stress has gone away completely, right? Because I'm like, it's over. Yeah. I won, right?
It's like people have to drop it now, right? They have to. Like, everybody else is gonna have at least a little bit of like common sense.
Yeah, sure, right.
Maybe.
So then right after that, the guy in our group was like, oh yeah, I still want to do this. I still, you know, it's my first short film experience, and I want to get my feet wet. And I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, please, somebody else say they're dropping out, right? And then the person next to him's like, yeah, no, let's do it. I'm still down. You know, let's get this thing out. And I'm like, oh, you know, like I want to strangle somebody at this point.
And
you
then
know,
everybody in the Discord, you know, chirps up, and they're like, yes, me, I'll do it, yeah.
They are mostly all first-time filmmakers.
Yeah, which
so
I completely understand that point.
That's why I didn't leave. That's why I didn't leave, because I was like, I can't do this to them on the first short film experience, even if it's gonna go completely wrong and just fall apart. let's do it.
Yeah.
Right. So at the end of the day, I was like, let's do it. Right. So that night we were on the call for, I think, 3 hours. We came up. Oh, and finally, the executive producer was like, I say we come up with an idea right now, or like a new concept right now. She's like,
together.
Yes. And I'm like, it took the executive producer being here. It took the supervisor. Like when you have bad management and then the supervisor comes down and everything fixes for the day.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it felt like. I was throwing shade all meeting. Like the executive producer comes in and she's like, oh yeah, now we can all come up with ideas, and everybody was heard. We all put out ideas, and I was like, let's do it in the garage. And she was like, that's a great idea. She's like, let's do it in the garage because it's it's like a closed off area.
Yeah.
And I felt so heard. I was throwing out so many ideas and like everybody was throwing out their ideas.
Yeah.
I said in that meeting, I was like, man, I wish we could have had a meeting like this in the beginning, where everyone was heard. I said that out loud. And like you could hear our producer just go silent, right?
Ooh.
And I was like, yeah. And then everybody else, I was like, nobody's gonna agree with me. I just want to say it, you know. Then everybody else was like, yeah, no, like this is great. And I was like, oh, like, it feels nice. Rub it in, so that felt good. Basically, it's now like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., right? 48 hours before the shoot day we're supposed to be on. And they're like, okay, well, we have like a basic outline for the script, right? Now we're gonna let the producer, the executive producer, and our new director. We got a new director. He's still in our group.
From one of the other. Oh, okay.
From another member in our group. He just kind of like they asked him and he stepped up.
He
right.
Promoted. Was he a first timer?
Yeah.
Or what,
he'd worked on other small stuff before.
Okay.
But like you remember I was saying like they called me to be DP. Did I ever mention that on camera?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it happened immediately after we'd finished recording an episode.
Yeah.
You got a call.
So that was when the writer left, right?
Yeah.
The screenwriter. Yes. I got a call right after we finished an episode, and they asked me, they're like, hey, do you want to be the director of photography? Some creative difference between the writers and us. And I was like, no, because y'all have not been listening to anything I've been saying, and I'm not going to take like such a big role on like, obviously I didn't say it like that. I was very like no, I'm busy, But like in my mind, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that if nobody's listening. Like, I'm not going to put myself into that position, right, and put all that work in. So some other guy took it. Won't say his name, but he's the GOAT, And then basically he took the director position after this. Uh-huh. So he was kind of like DP and director, I guess, but more director. We got somebody like from another group. The executive producer was telling us, she was like, if y'all need more members to fill in these members y'all lost, we can grab people from other groups. She was like, I'm sure they'd be down to help. And we got like 4 people from other groups.
Nice.
And it was very nice. They were all experienced. So they were like, okay, well, we got the outline. She's like, the rest of y'all can go to bed. In the morning, we're going to have a meeting. They hired a new screenwriter too. They promoted another member. And it was one of the people who hadn't been heard, but I really liked his ideas. It was the wardrobe guy. And it was his first time doing a film. But I was like, I trust him more than I trust anybody in this group besides the director now, the new director, the other guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to trust him. Because they were like, the guy was like, I'm going to write a screenplay tonight. Y'all can work on it in the morning and make adjustments.
That is bonkers.
It took all that. It took the executive producer being there to actually have stuff get done, right?
Yeah, but also like writing a whole screenplay just in one night. Just like, all right, guys, It's like 11 now. I'm going to write a screenplay tonight.
At 8 a.m., we get a message. Oh, sorry, they were going to meet at 9 a.m., right? And I was like, well, if I'm there, I'm going to meet in Discord. I might not be there, right? I didn't feel like hearing it. I was like, I don't want to hear any more problems, So they were like, we're going to revise like his thing at like 9 a.m. and, we can put all our inputs in. We're not going to like change it anymore, but they're like, we're just going to revise it, right? So once we got our ideas, the meeting was perfect. It felt great. The first time I felt confident about this, I was like, okay, now that we're getting stuff done, we can get this done. Yeah. We get a message at like 8 a.m. from that guy writing the screenplay. And he's like, just finished, guys.
Jesus
emailing it to y'all
Christ.
now. He's like, I will not be in the meeting because I'm going to sleep. He's like, but y'all can just change whatever y'all want. Just message me the changes, right?
Yeah.
And that was perfect. He was okay with us making changes. That's a rare thing, Yeah. It's a rare breed. And I was like,
good. That is a good thing.
It's very good. So they did the meeting. They changed it. And I was like, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to know anything about it. Just let me know when it's done,
Let me do the lighting. That's all I need to do.
We are now about 36 hours out from our shoot. It took them a 3-hour meeting of revising, It is now that night. Well, I'd say we're like 25, 26 hours out now because it's now the nighttime of that next day, right?
Yes.
And they're like, okay, so we're going to have another meeting just to go over everything that's going to go down, right? We go over like the roles, we go over everything, but they're like, we're not going to have a storyboard. And a storyboard, if you don't know, is you're basically going to draw out or take pictures of the shots that you want.
Yeah.
So that way you come prepared and you know where to put the camera, you know where to put the lights.
Yes.
Right? They're like, we're not going to do that. We don't have time. We're just going to like have the director. We've talked about shots that we want to get, and we're just going to have the director kind of be like, okay, put the camera there, put the camera there.
Yeah,
right?
You're gonna do it on the fly.
And as a gaffer, that's awful. Right?
Because you don't know how to set up the lighting for the shots.
I don't even know what the room's going to look like.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know where the lights are going to go. I don't know what shots he wants. Like the only way this works is if the director's good at communicating, right? Or if he just lets me take the reins with lights specifically. And then like I just check with him and be like, is this okay? And he'll be like, yeah, right?
Okay.
But if he's like, no, I don't like the lighting like that. No, I don't want the lighting. I want it like this specifically. But he doesn't have a picture. It's going to be kind of hard.
You're not going to be able to. It's actually going to be.
It's going to take a long time.
You're not going to do it. You can't do it.
Exactly. So I'm like, it's all up to him, I guess, you know? But they're like, okay, guys, so we're going to do blah, 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 blah. This is your roles. Don't forget, this is the wave, chain of command, blah, 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 blah. Set up, you know, boring stuff. The next day, we're 12 hours out. No. I'm sorry. Nothing happened the next day. But the next night, we're now about 6-7 hours out from shooting.
Okay.
Right? It is the night before. We're going to start sharp, 6:30 a.m. We're going to be at the school, right?
That sucks.
Just to all meet up. And it's going to be like probably an over 12-hour day. All day, right?
Yeah, because you have a single day to do it, right?
Exactly, yeah. So we're like, okay, I'm down, right? But like around 7 p.m., they send us a text. Emergency meeting, guys. 8:30 p.m. And I'm like, you're joking. You are joking. What could possibly be left to go wrong?
They found Purple dead in Med.
Yeah, in Med Bay.
Med Bay, yeah.
I wish. It would have been a nice excuse. So 8:30 p.m. We're all in the meeting. Guys, it's not looking good.
Why?
Our main actress has just sent me a text saying that she can no longer be in this short film.
I was about to ask, how were the actors throughout this whole thing?
The dude was perfect. The dude was like, he was there from the beginning to the end, right? Even though we were so inconsistent, which is great. You know, he was a first-time actor, but he was there.
Yeah.
And he was like a grown man too. It wasn't just like a student, you know? But then the girl was like, I can't do it. I have other commitments. She has like a bunch of other stuff basically going on.
Yeah, because all of you guys are also still, aside from doing the short film, which is taking up a ton of your time,
You all
go to school.
Yes.
And have multiple classes and multiple things outside of classes to take care of too.
So in my mind, I'm like, what? Why did you wait until the day before to tell us this? The actress. Why did the actress wait till the day before? So we're all sitting there and we're like, what now? Do we need to rewrite the script with like 7 hours left? Do you just change the main character and make it a one character story? And we're just freaking out at this point. And then the executive producer is like, I can get one of the other members, because some of the other members of the other groups are actors and actresses. She was like, I will text them and see if they'd want to do it. We text one girl who is the actress for another one, and she's like, can I have time to think about it? And we're like, we don't really have time. We have 7 hours until we have to be at the school, right? So we're all sitting there panicking, just texting everyone we know. Most people are like, no, I can't, no. And they're asleep too. So they ain't going to wake up in like 7 hours, right? The executive producer is like, okay, I'm going to go to bed, but I'll be at the school at 6:30 to help y'all out, right? Because there has to be an executive producer on set to make sure we don't damage equipment.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Let's just go to bed. I'm going to go to bed because this meeting was like an hour and a half. I now have like 6 hours, 5.5 hours of sleep before we have to do this like 14-hour day. So I wake up in the morning. Nobody said anything in the chat. No new updates.
Oh.
And I pull up at school and I'm like, we're still doing this, right? Like, do we have an actor? And they're like, yeah. So that girl who said she wanted to think about it does not want to do it.
Oh.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have the executive producer be the actress. She's an actress too.
I thought that's where it was going to go.
Yep. And I was like, I'm fine with that. Right? But like, she has probably like 2 hours to memorize the script, which is tough. You know, it's like 5 pages to memorize in 2 hours. The shoot day is here. We get all the equipment, load it up in the car. Drive off. We got all the people there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, you don't think it could go any more wrong than it already has, right? You think this is going to be the best part now, just shooting it and going home. We get there, and we plan to shoot it on a tripod and a gimbal. A gimbal is like a stabilizer for the camera. You put the camera on, and it just keeps it steady.
Yes.
But it's like handheld. So we're like, okay, well, let's get the tripod shots, right? Because we're waiting for the second actor to get there. He's not going to be there till like noon, but we can get the solo shots of our main actress while we're waiting. So we're like, okay, get the tripod out. We get the tripod out. And every tripod requires a plate. You see the plate that you have on this tripod to put the phone on?
Yes.
You can't just screw a phone or a camera directly onto the tripod because it just won't work. There's nothing to screw it onto.
Yeah.
You need a plate. I pull out the tripod and I ask them, I say, where's the plate? Like Drake and Josh, I'm like, Drake, where's the plate? And they all look at me and they're like, we look at the director who is like packing the equipment and we're like, where's the plate? And he's like, it should be on there already. And I'm like, I pull out the tripod out of the bag and I'm like, where on the tripod is the plate? Because I don't see it anywhere. And he's like, that's not the right tripod. And I'm like, what do you mean that's not the right tripod? And he's like, I made a mistake. And he's like, that's a different tripod than the one I put the plate on. He's like, we were supposed to take a different tripod. So I'm like, so we don't have a tripod. And he's like, we don't have a tripod. Oh, God. And we are not doing handheld. Handheld will give you motion sickness, with a camera of our size. So we were like, we just sat there and we were like, okay, so we just have the gimbal. We just have our stabilizer pretty much. That's the only thing we can shoot on. Once the battery for the gimbal dies, the shoot's over,
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, just put it on the gimbal then, right? I was like, y'all know how it works, right? And they're like, yeah, we did like an equipment test beforehand. Like, it should work with this camera and we'll do all this stuff. They screw the camera onto the gimbal. And the gimbal, you have to like calibrate it or else it'll just go like a robot arm, right?
Okay.
It's going crazy, like a robot arm. And I'm like, y'all can fix this, right? Like, I mean, they're like, yeah, we should be able to. And they're sitting there. And I go into the garage and I set up the lighting. Like, the lighting's already been set up at this point, And I'm asking the director, I'm like, hey, can you go check the lighting just to make sure it's what you want? I was like, I know you need the camera, but like, I just need to explain to you what I'm doing, right? And he's like, hang on, we're fixing it. It's been 30 minutes since they've been fixing the gimbal, right? And I'm like, we're supposed to be recorded like on scene 2 by now. We're supposed to be done with the first scene completely. It is now noon. The main actor's here.
No shot.
Or the second main actor, I guess, the co-lead, right? He's here, the grown man. And him and the main actress are just, I guess, going over lines in a different room. But I'm like, I sit up, I straight up sit down next to them. I'm like, what is the problem? Why are we taking so long with this? So we have an AD there. The AD is supposed to be keeping track of time. It's her first time doing a film shoot. She doesn't know she's supposed to be keeping track of time at all.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah. Nobody explained it to her, I guess.
Okay.
Like, nobody told her what her role was.
So what did she... So she was just like...
She was just there. I was like, I guess, like, sitting next to the director and being like, hey, do y'all need anything? But that's not what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to be like, hey, guys, 12:30.
Keeping track of the time.
We got to go.
Timetable and everything.
Yeah. So the other people from the other group show up because they were supposed to show up a little bit later. And they're like, what's going on right now? Like, what is the AD doing? What are we doing? What are y'all doing? And I was like, they're all first time. Like, I explained to them because the other ones, they're all very experienced. Like, no, I don't say like me because I'm not very experienced, but they're very experienced, And I explained to them, I was like, they're all first time. Every single one of them's a first time director or first time doing whatever they do. I was like, if you want them to know something, you're going to have to explain it to them. And they're like, okay. So they pull the AD aside and they're like, what are you doing? Like, you got to do this, And she gets it after that. Not in a rude way, obviously. Yeah. But they're like, okay. She gets it and she starts calling out the time. I sit next to them on the gimbal and I'm like, what's the problem? Like, why is it not calibrated? Y'all said y'all did an equipment test. Y'all know how it works. And they're like, yeah, we're waiting for one of the other group members to show up and he'll be here around like 2. It's like 12:30. And I'm like, why are you waiting for that? And they're like, because he's the one who calibrated it whenever we did the equipment test. And I'm like, I thought you said you knew how to do it. And they're like, no, he's the one who knew. And I'm like, I told them, I was like, we're not waiting until 2. I was like, you might as well just cancel the short film and stop wasting everyone's time. I was like, just look it up on YouTube. And they were like, oh, he's right. And they all pull out their phone. We've been sitting there for almost an hour now with them just fondling this little, like, like going around in circles. They finally look it up on YouTube. After another 45 minutes, they finally get it working, right? It is now like 12:45.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be really far along. The wrap is at 6 p.m. Like, we're supposed to be done at 6 p.m. Putting all the equipment in the car, heading back to school, right? We were supposed to start shooting at around 8 a.m., 9 a.m., right?
It's almost 1 now.
It is 1:45 p.m. And I finally asked the director, I'm like, go check the lighting in the garage and tell me if it looks good. And he's like, he looks in there and he's like, I explained it to him. He's like, yeah, that's good. And I was like, okay, so he seems reasonable. He seems like he's going to let me take the reins on the controls, right? For the lights. And I'm like, perfect. So we're standing in the garage,
and
we're just.
As soon as the AD figured out what her job was, she was just there watching the time fly, like just pass by.
Yeah,
guys, we need to. Yeah, we should be doing this.
That's exactly what it was. Every 15 minutes, it was like, hey, 1:45. Let's move on. 2 p.m. Let's move on. We sat there for another like 15 minutes of just sitting there, and I'm like, what are we waiting for now? They're like, the actors, and I'm like, well, are somebody gonna go get them? Or like, you know? And they're like, oh yeah, let's go get them. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Right? So they go get the actors. The actors are on set, and the directors now is going to explain for like 15 minutes the blocking because we don't have a storyboard. We have a brand new actress. Even the main guy didn't really know because we made this script like 2 days before.
Yeah.
So the main guy and the girl are being explained to where they're going to stand, how it's going to work. That takes like another 15. 2:15, we finally start recording. Right. We just go straight through. It takes a long time. It probably should have been like a 45-minute scene, like recording it. It took an hour 45. It is 3:45 or an hour and a half. Sorry, 3:45 p.m. now.
And you've had how much done at this point?
One scene.
That's
we need 2 more scenes. Right. We're supposed to wrap at 6 p.m. Lunch was supposed to be at 1 p.m.
But there wasn't any lunch.
It was supposed to be a 1-hour lunch at 1 p.m. And in my mind, I'm like, are we gonna feed these people that we're working with, or what are we doing? Finally, the director's like, okay, we're gonna wrap for lunch.
Okay.
We get there
at 4, basically now.
Yeah, so the school pays for our lunch for this one. It's just like Little Caesars, right? The classic, right? We get in there. It's cold. It's cold pizza,
of course,
and it's supposed to be an hour-long lunch, right? As to give everyone a break. But the AD speaks to the director, and the director's like, "Hey, we're gonna do a quick 20-minute lunch." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" All right,
yeah, because I mean, if you guys didn't do a 20-minute, even if you did like a 15-minute lunch, 20-minute lunch, right? Like you said, that's like another 20 minutes just disappeared, gone, reduced to atoms. You deserve a lunch, right? You deserve to take a break. But if you're trying to like make it by the time you said, that is impossible. There's no shot. If you took 145 minutes doing one scene.
Yep. It's just a quick way to get everyone to hate you. Is the problem. So like when you're a director, you have to give them an hour lunch or at least 30 minutes, but no, 20 minutes. And it's like, oh God. So we do a quick lunch. And everybody's just standing around. I'm like, all right, let's get this next shot done, right? So it didn't actually rain that day like it was supposed to, but it was very cloudy. And I'm like, okay, let's do the outside scenes. It's like 3:45. We don't want golden hour to start and then like have the lighting look weird, right? Like, be like, why does this shot take place before this one, but it's supposed to take place after, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, let's do it outside. And they're like, no, hang on, we want to redo some of the shots from the first scene. And like, you want to redo them. Like, you want to redo the thing we just spent like an hour and 45 on, and we only have like, it's now like 4:10, 4:15. I'm like, we have less than 2 hours. Like, and you want to redo the first scene's shots. They're like, yeah, we'll get it done real quick. They're like, can you set up the lighting? And I'm like zooming. I'm like, like taking apart things, putting the lighting back up, right? We get done on the inside scenes around like 4:45, right? They're like, okay, time to do the outside scenes. And I'm like, okay, well, lighting doesn't really do much outside because we don't have like, high-powered LEDs, anything like that. So we're just using a couple of reflectors. The outside, the first shot of the outside, we're supposed to do 14 shots outside, right? Which is a lot for an hour. First shot, they spend so long trying to get it perfect. The director's like, yeah, but I kind of want it like this. Kind of want it like that. Kind of want it like this. Trying to explain it to the actors. And they're just not even like blocking the actors. They're not even really explaining it to the actors what they're going to do. They're just like, okay, just do whatever you want. And I'm like, we spend 30 minutes on the first shot. And I'm like, the whole time I'm telling the AD, I'm like, you got to tell them. Like, you got to tell them to cut it right here and just keep moving. Yeah. Like, we'll come back for it if anything. And eventually I tell the director straight up, I'm like, hey, we got to move. The sun is set. I was like, look at the sun. Look at the sun. It is behind the trees. Like, there is a shadow casting onto our shoot. I was like, we need to do this. We need to get it done. Go. And he's like, okay, one more take. So we get the final take and we go. Right? Blah, blah, blah. Shoot through the next few scenes. We barely get it done before golden hour hits. Right?
Okay.
Then we're like, okay, well, now we need to get one more outdoor scene. And we get it. And was that it? I think. Then they were like, okay, it's now like 6:30 p.m. We're going 30 minutes over the shoot, right? And they're like, okay, all the outside scenes are done. Now let's redo some shots from the first scene. I'm like, why? Why are we redoing for the second time? You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. Nick, can you set up the lights? I'm like a Lego man. You know, in the games, it was like,
exactly.
You know, like that's what I did. So we redo the shots. It takes another 45 minutes to redo some of these shots. Finally, at 7:15, all right, guys, that's a wrap. And everybody's, yeah, you know, even I'm like, woo, you know, because it's a moment to cheer for. You know, we did it within 48 hours, really. But
right, some major drawbacks, setbacks, and things going wrong.
The director has a speech, and he's like, I really appreciate. He's like, I was just kind of put in this position. And he's like, I really appreciate you all helping me. He's like, I know I'm not the most consistent, the most, you know. He's like, I know I'm new, and we were all like, we love you, man, because he was the GOAT. He's the straight up GOAT. He let people work, you know.
Yeah.
And he was a first time, but he did great for the first time. I guess for like this proportion scale, he wasn't a first time director, but of this many people helping out, you know, he did great. And then the producer wants to have a speech. The same producer who was working with the director and the screenwriter to make sure nobody else had a say in any of the ideas. The same producer who I might even say it's their fault that it all fell apart because they prevented anyone from helping out, right? Producer wants to have a speech. At this point, I'm about to scream, you know? The producer sits down and she's like, hey guys, you know, like we did a great job out there. And I know there's a lot of rough spots. And, you know, who's to say what really went wrong? You know, plenty of things. And in my mind, I was about to say right there, I was about to be like, oh, you're so close. You're this close, you know? But she's like, I'm really proud of all the work y'all did today. You know, blah, blah, blah. We wrap. It's over. I go home. We get back to the school at like 8:30 because the shoot's like 45, almost an hour away, right? We pack up all the equipment. By the time we're completely done, all the equipment's put up. Everything's checked back in. It is about 10 p.m., right? My phone's about to die. I plug it in to the wall, and I'm like, well, I'm not going home until my phone's a little bit more charged, right?
Yeah.
And I sit and I talk to the other people in our group. The producer and the director and the executive producer are all in another room. So I talk to the new director and this other guy in our group, and I'm like, oh, and one of the PAs in our group, and I'm like, hey, how did y'all feel about this whole experience? Everybody had the same thing I did pretty much. Being left in the dark. Even the new director, right? The guy who just stepped up.
Yeah.
He was being left in the dark. You know how he was the DP before and they promoted him?
Yes.
He had no idea like anything that was going on. He told me straight up, he was like, yeah, no, even though I was like a leadership position like that, they didn't tell me anything until like the day of. He's like, I would just find out things. He's like, I wrote like tons of scripts and he's like, for them. And they would just reject them all. I was like, can I see some of your scripts? His scripts were so much better than anything we put out. So much better than anything we filmed that day. I was like, why did we not do this? Why did we not use your ideas? But that's basically the end. They're now editing it. They had 5 days to edit it. We are now on day 4. Tomorrow is the short film festival.
Wow.
And I am going to be so humiliated to be there. I don't know. And I hope that before our film goes on, they do not say, hey guys, this group had a lot of problems. You know, this is a 48-hour film pretty much.
Don't judge them for the quality of their film.
I hope they don't do that.
Yeah,
do not downplay what happened. You know what I mean? Because all of that could have been prevented. But also it's like, I don't want people to take pity on us as a group to be like, oh, well, no wonder it's like that.
Because that's like that like rubs salt in the wound.
That's exactly what it is.
You don't want people to go like before it plays. It's like, wait, okay,
it's gonna be bad. You know,
but
like,
don't just don't don't be so hard on them.
Yeah, but I mean that's pretty much it. They're editing right now. And I was telling whenever that little conversation, we sat there and talked until like I think it was like 12:30, almost 1 a.m. for like 3 hours. Me and like the those other 3 dudes, you know. And I was telling him, I was like, hey, like, I was like, so like with this shot, whenever we were doing it, because obviously we couldn't talk on set, we had to move, you know. I was asking him, I was like, so did you want this to happen? And he was like, no, but that's a great idea. Why didn't you tell me that on set? And I was like, well, because like nobody listens to me. They're like, what do you mean? That's when I let it out. I was like, well, nobody listens to anyone in this group. Like nobody like blah, blah, blah. They're like, yeah, I see that. And I was like, the guy was like, tell me more ideas right now. And I told him like 3 different ideas. And he was like, that was genius. He was like, we should have did that. And I was like, it's fine. It's done now. It's in the past. Yeah. Right?
Like, wait, everybody, emergency meeting, okay? Can we head back to
We're gonna reshoot tomorrow.
We're gonna get there right now, and we're gonna make sure everything's there.
Oh god.
Okay? We're gonna talk. We're gonna have a little
Get out of my head. Get out of my head. Get out of my head.
And then as soon as the sun gets in a position, we're going.
But I mean, it's done now, right?
Yeah.
I had told the editor, I was like, hey, if you need help editing it, let me know. Like, I have editing experience. I know you're a first time editor for like of this proportion. I haven't gotten a call yet from him. But yeah. Also, the day after that, I had like an actual shoot with people that I enjoyed, and they were so organized, and it was amazing.
What was this one for?
It's a sizzle trailer. So a sizzle trailer is like something that you put out there to like get funding for a short film, or a TV series or something.
Yeah.
It's basically like you put out like a concept almost.
I think you told me about that.
Yeah. So it's like a concept. So, or proof of concept or something. You know, it's just something you show like stakeholders to be like, hey, we filmed this and it's gonna be like this.
Yeah. You want more? Then give us money.
Yeah, basically.
Please.
Yeah. So we filmed that and it was so good. It went so smoothly. I was like, perfect. I mean, it went over time, but everything goes over time. That's just part of the industry, right? So like, but the organization, oh, I love those people. I love them so much with all my heart. Right. But yeah, that was the end of the story. I'll let you know how our screening goes if we were the worst. Honestly, it sounds kind of weird, but like that was my best work on a short film. That like crunch time contest.
Having to like just keep moving and like get ready for anything and just like
I had never done lighting, but like I felt like my lighting looked beautiful. Like I don't know if it's just me not knowing what it's gonna look like yet, but like in my head, like I thought the lighting looked pretty great. The indoor scenes. Outdoor, you know, you can't really do much, right? But like I don't know. For some reason, I get this feeling that we're not going to be the worst ones there, at least look-wise. You know?
That's all that matters for you?
I mean, I don't really care. We could be the worst ones there. It's just like, I'm more there. I don't want to be humiliated in the way that they say where it's like, oh, don't have pity on these guys. I don't want them to do that. Yeah. If they don't do that, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. I don't care what puts on screen, you know?
But what I was saying is like, even if, you know, even if the story isn't too great, even if, you know, it doesn't, you know, seem the best or the most cohesive and put together, the shots would look great potentially.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters to you.
I feel like I put in my work. Yeah. I put in as much as I could, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel like I put in my best effort and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't enjoy it, but I enjoyed the shoot part of it where I could put in whatever I wanted. Anyways, that's the end of the story. That took forever.
I can't imagine how exhausting that must have been to live it, because just listening to it is exhausting. It makes me feel exhausted. It makes me feel sad.
We were supposed to have 2 months to prepare. We had 2 days instead.
It's 48 hours.
It was mentally and physically taxing, for sure. Probably one of the most intense things I've ever done in my life, where it's like, just go, like on 24/7, you know? That's
terrible. And that's honestly basically where we're going to end this episode.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. That was a ride. That was to whoever was, you know, wanting to seek that what do you call it? That ending, that resolution, right? That sense of closure in the story. There it is. That is the essentially from where you last spoke of it in what was it, like episode 7 or something?
I want to say it's before that, like episode 2 or 3.
Really? Oh, maybe.
We started this short film contest by the time we started this podcast, around that time.
Maybe, yeah. If from when he stopped talking about it, from like episode 3 or 4 or something to now, there you go. Okay, that's everything that's there. And that is the end of the story. I mean, you give us an update on how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, I'm not expecting anything crazy to happen. But whatever happens, right?
Yeah. So regardless, thank you if you're still here for listening. If you joined us for the first time, hello.
Sorry, you were probably so confused if you joined us for the first time.
Yeah, just I don't know. We'll figure out where he last talked about it, and then, you know, we'll just like put that up on the screen or do something, right? Leave it in the description or something, so you could, if you want, go back to that and to you know, to come back to here. And yes, thank you. The normal stuff like subscribe, do all that, or rate us on
Hit
Spotify.
that like button if you enjoyed this episode,
and also comment if you want to, because I guess engagement, right? Commenting gives engagement. Yeah,
of course.
Engage with us, okay?
Tell me, you know, in the comments, tell me a story about your short film experience if you've had one. So tell me when something fell apart and you thought it wasn't going to happen, but it happened anyway.
Just comment your worst moment.
Yeah,
your lowest moment.
We can all have like a trauma dump in the comments, right?
Yeah, and then I don't know if there's anything there. Best trauma dump gets read out loud.
Yes, best trauma dump gets read out loud.
Yeah, if nobody comments, it's fine. But again, trauma dump. If you have the best trauma dump, it'll be read out loud next week. So thank you. And do you have anything else to say?
I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.